Richardson Hitchins took to social media today with a bold challenge. If Devin Haney is no longer going to fight Teofimo Lopez, then Hitchins wants to step in and face Haney instead, ideally in Saudi Arabia. This announcement comes with some conditions, though. Before he can realistically start planning for a major fight like that, Hitchins needs to successfully defend his IBF light welterweight title. He's set to fight George Kambosos Jr. on June 14th, and that bout will be a major test. Until he gets past Kambosos, any talk about Haney is just hypothetical. Still, Hitchins seems confident that he'll win and is already trying to line up his next big opportunity. In a raw and confident post on X, formerly Twitter, Hitchins didn't hold back. He wrote, "If Teo isn't fighting Haney anymore, and I mess Kambosos up, I'll fight Haney in Saudi. Tell him to hit my line." The message was loud, aggressive, and straight to the point. But even with all that energy, not everyone believes this is the kind of fight that would be a huge draw. Although Hitchins is currently a world champion, his name doesn't carry a lot of weight with casual fans yet. He's not a widely recognized star, and that could make it tough to sell a pay-per-view event around him. From Haney's point of view, it might not be a smart business move. Facing Hitchins would be risky in the ring, but might not bring in enough money to make it worth the gamble. The only realistic way a fight between Hitchins and Haney could happen would be if a major financial backer, like Turki Al-Sheikh, stepped in to fund it. Al-Sheikh has been investing heavily in boxing events in Saudi Arabia, turning the country into a hotspot for major fights. If he decided to support Hitchins versus Haney, it could become part of a stacked fight card as a co-main event or undercard bout, but it likely wouldn't headline a big show on its own. For now, Hitchins may be jumping the gun by talking about Haney before he's even gotten through Kambosos. And that's not the only thing standing in his way. Even if he beats Kambosos, he still has to deal with another major hurdle in the form of Subriel Matias. Subriel Matias is Hitchins' mandatory challenger for the IBF belt, and that fight has to happen unless Hitchins can convince Matias to step aside, usually by paying him. But Matias is known as a tough and dangerous opponent, and many people in boxing circles believe Hitchins has been trying to avoid that matchup for some time. Now that Matias is officially next in line, Hitchins has run out of room to maneuver. Unless he's able to pay Matias a significant step-aside fee, he'll be forced to face him. That mandatory defense could delay or completely derail any potential showdown with Haney, no matter how much Hitchins wants it. At the same time, the drama around the planned fight between Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez has taken a sudden turn. Haney, who remains undefeated at 32 wins and 15 knockouts, had been gearing up for a high-stakes clash with Lopez on August 16th, but now that fight appears to be in serious trouble. Reports surfaced that Turki Al-Sheikh, who was expected to fund the event, has cut ties with Lopez. If those reports are accurate and Al-Sheikh is no longer involved, then the fight may not happen at all. That would leave Haney without a confirmed opponent and potentially open the door for someone like Hitchins to step in, provided he can take care of business in the ring and clear the path legally and contractually. This sudden uncertainty surrounding the Haney versus Lopez fight has thrown a wrench into what was shaping up to be one of the biggest matchups of the year. Haney had been positioning himself for that fight for months, and it was expected to be a lucrative event backed by Saudi money. The rivalry, the star power, and the stakes had all the ingredients for a blockbuster. But now, with Turki Al-Sheikh reportedly stepping away from Lopez, it's unclear whether the fight will ever materialize. Without financial support from a powerful backer like Al-Sheikh, it's unlikely the promoters or networks will want to take the financial risk, especially considering Lopez's recent unpredictability inside and outside the ring. For Haney, this change in plans puts him in a bit of a dilemma. He's in his prime, undefeated, and one of the top stars in the lightweight and junior welterweight divisions. He can't afford to sit around waiting for clarity. If the Lopez fight falls apart, Haney will need a new opponent soon. Someone credible enough to keep his momentum going, but also appealing enough to sell tickets and pay-per-view buys. That's where someone like Hitchins could become an option. Even if it's not ideal, It wouldn't be Haney's first choice, but if the money's right and the circumstances line up, it could serve as a temporary detour while waiting for bigger names to become available. However, the biggest obstacle to a Haney versus Hitchins fight isn't just about fan interest. It's the timing and mandatory obligations. Hitchins, assuming he beats Kambosos, is locked in to face Subriel Matias next, unless he negotiates his way out. And Matias is not an easy guy to sidestep. Known for his aggressive style and punishing power, he's arguably one of the most feared fighters in the division. Most fans and analysts believe that a Hitchins versus Matias fight would be a true test of Hitchins' skills and toughness. If Hitchins does end up having to face Matias, there's a strong chance he could lose his belt, which would eliminate a major selling point for a potential fight with Haney. There's also the matter of fan perception. Right now, boxing audiences are craving high-stakes fights between recognizable names. Hitchins, despite being talented and undefeated, hasn't yet captured mainstream attention. A fight between Haney and someone like Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, or even Shakur Stevenson would generate far more excitement. So while Hitchins might be eager and willing and even deserving in terms of skill, he's still on the outside looking in when it comes to the sport's biggest stages. For him to land a fight with Haney, a lot would have to go right, both in and out of the ring. At the end of the day, Hitchins' call-out could be seen as strategic. He knows Haney may soon be left without an opponent, and he's trying to insert himself into the conversation before others do. It's a smart move from a business standpoint, even if it's a bit premature. He's trying to build a narrative and create buzz while the spotlight is on Haney and the Saudi events. But boxing is a complicated sport where timing, politics, and contracts matter just as much as talent. Until Hitchins proves himself against Kambosos and deals with the Matias situation, his call-out may remain just that. Words on social media waiting to become reality.